Greetings, dear precious spirit soul that you are. Hey, it's been a while. You know, we've had a lot of smoke up here, fires and, weird stuff. Anyway, it's just so good to be with you. Thank you for all the notes. You're wondering if we're okay and everything's fine. Yes. Now, remember, there's about 600 YouTube videos there for you to use to study and to even repeat. I was talking to one of my students, Davy, and she was saying there's one she loves on expectations that she's watched maybe 100 times, because it isn't a time-dated thing. Because when you have knowledge, sacred knowledge, you might say, of who you are and how life operates and how this world works and how to attain the topmost as possible to you or any living entity now and eternally, that's a big one. You know, you have to be committed to yourself, to attaining that yourself. So study those and apply them and use them. And then I'm not saying believe it, but I'm saying if you study that, you use it and you apply it, if it'll be beneficial for you. Now, my topic today is empower who and what empowers you. And depower what is depowering you. And how you depower what is depowering you is by empowering who and what is empowering you. You say, you don't need to fight. This fighting mentality is all about the control structure, whoever it may be in your life, anywhere, family, friends, educators, boss, whoever it may be. In a sense, they're operating to depower you because they want to empower themselves. And a real key here is you do not need to be less for someone else to be more. And how a false reality is set up, it's set up based on lies. And lies persist. And when you tell the truth about something, then the lies disappear, and the natural, the divine, the mystic, the glorious then manifests itself. And what we have to do is get our bloated nothingness out of the way, so to speak, and to learn and apply these great teachings that you can test out yourself, because you will know whether it's true or false. It has nothing to do with what you think, has nothing to do with what you were taught, has nothing to do with any outside pressure at all. It has to do with whether you trust yourself or you trust the mind. You trust yourself or you trust others, you see. And when we take our power back, it means that we are conscious of our natural manifesting divine abilities, and how we want to activate those is by empowering who and what is empowering us. And one of the issues that most people have to deal with, well, we all do until we know who we are, is called envy and jealousy. And actually unwillingness to empower those who are empowering us, because we don't want them to be successful, whatever that means. We don't want them to be empowered. We don't want them to be enriched because of the envy. So there's a consciousness of taking, of let me use you. I can use you here, and I can use you here, and I can use you there. And we're treating people and animals as things rather than as divine beings. And when we're conscious of how we're empowering and who we're empowering, then when we realize the results of empowering those who do not empower others or whatever, it just moves that person we've been empowering into a lower energy system, because they do not know that they can empower others. You see what I'm saying? Is we're natural creators. And when someone has taught to believe through the actions of others. It may be giving your children everything instead of allowing them to endeavor for it and work for it, because we don't want them to go through what we went through. So, and because we know the joy of giving, then we can then actually ruin a person if they're not conscious and take command of their lives and themselves by giving them too much. Because we love to give, we want them to have it, we want to know the joy of their receiving, but those person never can get enough. And so those people then become very angry and very resentful and believe that they're entitled to that other people are there to do this for them because they don't know how to do it themselves. And so you have people who are depowering themselves by empowering the wrong persons and the wrong things, as if those are your source of power, when your source of power is with you, that you're part of. And so when you empower who and what is empowering you, you rise above that tendency for envy and to get a good deal, or to abuse, or to cheat, or to manipulate someone else for what you want to gain for yourself. So that then, when you empower who and what is empowering you, you give to what is giving to you, like giving to the earth. It's like if you cut down some trees and plant some new trees there that are natural or that like to grow there. So, and you can see here at Castle Lake, many of the trees have actually left. So you just have the remains of the living trees, which you have then the dried remains. And that because also see a fire hazard. Some will say it's a beetle, but it also is electronics. And we look at what also is what is being dropped out of the sky. And all of these chemicals and all of these things cause a reaction in people, especially those people who are not empowering themselves, but are depowering themselves because they're empowering others who are depowering them. So, and what makes us then is self-abusive. And when we empower that which is doing good, we empower those who are helping us. We empower those kind of products or services that are beneficial to the earth. In a sense, you vote with your dollars or you vote with your money. And when you look at that, to realize that it isn't the money that has the power. It's also because, that's all printed up and belongs to somebody else. They charge you interest on that because it's a depowering situation. And how do you empower yourself in a consciousness of mutual depowerment, so that what we just say, that individuals who are more socio and psychopathic in their consciousness are always conscious of how they can depower others to make themselves powerful. So these people then become power mad, and they're using then the power of force, or the power of reward, or the power of punishment, or the power of threats, or the power of fear, or all. So how you take your power back, and that's the most important thing, is to notice who you're giving your power to. And then to recognize, like I had to recognize once that my giving to someone was actually not good for them, because in my own mind, I didn't believe they could make it without me, or I didn't believe they were intelligent enough, or I didn't believe they could do it. And it was also my desire to control the situation, or perhaps even the person, to do what I want. So, when you're working on the spiritual path, you've got to have a real keen eye of a sleuth, a spiritual sleuth, because you got to be looking at what's your intentions and where's that coming from, and to look at how this is all a mind program. And in that mind program, we are taught to give our power to those who are taking our power away from us. It's even whether it's an educator, or it's a crooked, a criminal, or a cruel religious person, or however they want to do that, or any controlling agent that tells you what to do, how to live, what you can eat, what you could put in your body, what you have to have. Because first of all, nobody owns you. And nobody owns this body either, no matter how many rules and regulations they write down with their letters and their numbers and their meanings and all of their agreements as this is what you have to do because, you're not a free agent. Well, we don't even need free will. We are freedom itself, you see, and it's a free dome. It means that your consciousness is free of obstacles, free of lies, free of depowerment. And for me, one of the most important things I ever did was to really empower those who were empowering me instead of empowering others because I wanted to get something from them, or I believed that, what you might say, it wasn't so much as that. You look and you'll find out what it is. But one of the best things for me, and when I had my church and my big ministry in San Diego in the 80s, and if there was a writer or a speaker or someone out, a spiritual leader, someone out in the world that people really liked and wanted to hear, I would make sure that they came and spoke and taught, because I realized I wasn't just the only person who could give value to others, that there's so many other people out there. And it helped me overcome jealousy, helped me overcome competition, helped me overcome the sense that if I empower others and then they're more successful or they're more powerful than I am, or they're more beautiful, or they have more than I do. And see, this is all envy. And if you have envy and you're not consciously giving to those who are giving to you, just like, say, if someone brought you a plate of homemade wonderful cookies with all good ingredients on a beautiful plate, when you return the plate, put something on the plate to give back, thank you is not good enough. See, a lot of people go, well, thank you. Oh, thank you. That means it's over, it's the end, and I don't give. Why would we want to be giving to those who do not give back? Because giving is a joy. Receiving is a joy because it also gives others the joy and empowerment of being able to give. And I used to have, when I had my ministry in San Diego, I'd say, give something in the offering, because if you're gaining something, contribute something, because you want to empower them to be able to continue to do what they're doing because it's benefiting you, you see. That's how it operates. And when I started doing that, and then you could also take a look at, there might be many people on the YouTube that you really like what they're doing, but maybe you give a little $5 a month to that one and $5, and say maybe you have $10 that you only can give a month, or maybe 20, or maybe you have 1,000, or have whatever you want to. When you give it out there, that money or that energy, with your intention, with your love to empower them because you want them to succeed, you're happy for their happiness. You're happy for the good. It's like when people are complaining what's going on in the world, but we're the ones buying those crappy products. We're the ones that get all hyped that we have to have this and do that and do that, and not noticing the ramifications of our actions and who and what we're empowering, and then stand there complaining about what's going on in the world as if somebody else did it. Yet it in a sense, someone else did it, but we did it because we agreed. We bought the store. We bought it. We agreed. We thought we needed it. We wanted it because we thought it would give us some pleasure, some nectar, some portion of some happiness, or some release from tension and everything. The greatest investment is the one you make in your consciousness, because then nobody or nothing could take it away. So here's the deal. Start to look at who is giving to you, who is a loving, what people out there, what products, whatever there is that you want to have more of. It's like, let's get back to mom and pop stores. Let's get back to what's homemade. Let's get back to, if you're going to a craft fair, you're going to a farmer's market. Let's start empowering individuals. And you can do it just little ways, in encouragement and in contribution to them, or sharing it with other people. You see, overcome the consciousness of poverty, which is lack and limitation, that says you don't have enough and you never will. It's not ever giving out of sacrifice. It's always, and use that If it's a special restaurant you go to that you know is good and you share that, and as you contribute to them, it allows them to continue. But you know how many people will say, oh, it's something real good, but I don't want to tell anybody about it because I won't have a table when I get there, or I don't want that person to have it because they already have so much and they don't need it. No, but we need to give, and that because that's our nature. So, hey, empower what's empowering you, and depower what's depowering you by no longer participating with it. No longer, you don't have to hate it. You don't have to war against it. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to get yourself all hateful and angry and resentful. Look how ugly that is. That's not who you are. It's a lie. And then use your power, because you are power itself. You are the divine. Anyway, hey, I love you. You're the best. Michael's got a new GoPro camera tattoo, and he's using it today. We're at the lake. It's only as good as you allow it to be. Hugs.